Hello lovely people, welcome back to another video where we are looking at question number 19 in our walkthrough. It says here, shown below are the points 1, 4 and 7, 15. And we want to calculate the length of the line joining A and B. Well, this is essentially a Pythagoras theorem question. So, can I draw a straight line? I can, sort of. So, ooh, magic. Okay, so we've kind of got a straight line over here. And we've made a right angle triangle where the length along the bottom is from 1 to 7, looking at the x coordinates. And the difference between those two numbers is 6. And from 4 to 15 for the y coordinates, that's going to be 11. So we can say, and this is going to be c, so we can say 6 squared plus 11 squared is equal to c squared. So that's just 36 plus 121 equals c squared. And we have 121 plus 36. Just going to get my calculator to work that one out. Don't watch me. 121 plus 36. Oh, look at that. C squared equals 157. So then c is equal to the square root of 157. I think it's okay to leave it like that. So I'm just going to leave it like that. Don't actually need to put c, just the square root of 157 should suffice. Okay, next, shown are two straight lines drawn on the grid. Line 1 has equation y equals 3x minus 12. Find the equation of line 2. Okay, well, this is y equals mx plus c stuff. So we know that the gradient, which is normally given by m, equals 3, and the y-intercept, the c, is equal to minus 12. So we know that this is minus 12. So if 4 squares is minus 12, then each square going down is 3. So minus 3, minus 2, minus 3, minus 6 rather, minus 9. So every square going up is going to be 3. So going up is 3, and then this is going to be 6. So we know that this line L2 is going to be y equals mx plus 6, because we can see it crosses the second one up, so mx plus 6. Now to work out what the m is, well, we need to work out another point from L2 that we know so that we can determine what the gradient is. Okay, so what we could do is we can see this point here, so we need to work out what the x axis is going up in. So I can actually determine the x-intercept of line 1. So we know the x-intercept occurs, x-intercept occurs when y equals 0. So if we substitute y equals 0, we get 0 equals 3x minus 12. So 12 equals 3x, so x is equal to 4. Yes. So that means that we know each of these is going up in 2, because that's 2. This must be 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, just doing it for space, 14, 16, 18. So we know this coordinate here is 18, 0. So we know line L2 goes through the points 0, 6, and it goes through the point 18, 0. And if we use our gradient formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, so x1, y1, x2, y2, using the m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, well, that's going to be equal to 0 minus 6 over 18 minus 0, which is equal to minus a third. Okay, so we know that our gradient is minus a third. So our final equation is y equals minus a third x plus 6. Next, are the two lines perpendicular? Well, if we take the gradient, so L1 gradient equals 3, and L2 gradient is equal to minus a third. Now that is the negative reciprocal, and another way of showing that it's the negative reciprocal is by going, okay, 3 times minus a third is equal to minus 1. And the gradients of perpendicular lines have a product of minus 1. Therefore, they are perpendicular. I'm just one of those people that likes to write to ensure that I get the mark. So I've explained everything. That is definitely going to be enough to get the marks, or the mark. Right, next question. The circle has equation x squared plus y squared equals 42.25. Find the circumference of the circle. Give your answer in terms of pi. Okay, well, the circle equation is always of the form x squared plus y squared, well, for these kinds of circles anyway, with center 0, 0, is equal to r squared. So essentially, we know that r squared equals 42.25. Now, this is a calculator paper, so we can go ahead and just square root this with our calculators. If it were a non-calculator paper and they expected you to do this, it is still possible. Change 42.25 into an improper fraction, and it makes it much easier to see what the square root of that would be. I encourage you to try that and let me know your thoughts in the comments. So I'm just going to go ahead and go, okay, so r must be equal to 6.5. So we know the radius is equal to 6.5. And then circumference, well, that's equal to 2 pi r or pi d, however you want to look at it, it's the same thing. So we have 2 times pi times 6.5, and that's going to be 13 pi. So 13 pi is our answer in terms of pi. Next, f of x is equal to 3x over 5 plus 1, and we want to find f of 2. So I'm going to put brackets like this, and that means that we start from the inside and work our way out. So first of all, f of 2 is equal to, we substitute 2 into the function, so it's 3 lots of 2 over 5 plus 1, which is equal to 6 over 5 plus 1. So what is that? 6 over 5 is 1.2, so plus 1 is 2.2. And then f of 2, well, we just worked out that f of 2 was 2.2, so it's the same thing as f of 2.2, and that's equal to 3 lots of 2.2 over 5 plus 1. Now, let me just put that into my calculator, because can I really? Yeah, I'm just going to put it in my calculator. 3 times 2.2, that is going to be 6.6, divide that by 5, it's going to be 1.32, plus 1, that's going to be 2.32. So we get 2.32. Next, f minus 1 is 350, so we need to find the inverse function. So first of all, we want to determine f minus 1 of x. So what we're going to do is, suppose instead y equals 3x over 5 plus 1. Now, the inverse function is simply swapping x for y and swapping y for x. So I have here x is equal to 3y over 5 plus 1. X and y have switched places. And now my goal is to make y the subject. So if I subtract 1 from both sides, I get x minus 1 equals 3y over 5. Multiply both sides by 5, I get 5 lots of x minus 1 is equal to 3y. Then, dividing both sides by 3, we get 5 lots of x minus 1 over 3 is equal to y. So f minus 1 of x, therefore, is equal to 5 lots of x minus 1 over 3. So therefore, f minus 1 of 350 is equal to 5 lots of 350 minus 1, all divided by 3. So then that's equal to 5 times 349, all divided by 3. So 5 times 349 is 1.745, okay. And then 1,745 rather. And then divide that by 3, I guess. So 1745 over 3. I think that's okay as an answer. Yeah, that's fine. 1745 over 3. Lovely stuff. Let's go to the next question. Next, we want to solve x squared minus x minus 11 equals 0. I'm just going to go quadratic formula with this one. So they're saying give the answers to one decimal place. So a is equal to the coefficient of x squared, which is 1. B equals the coefficient of x, which is minus 1. And then c is the rest of it, which in this case is minus 11. Now, quadratic formula says x is equal to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. So x is going to be minus bracket minus 1 plus or minus the square root of bracket minus 1 squared minus 4 lots of 1 lots of minus 11. Now I've put it like this because in your calculators you can put these values exactly as it is and type it exactly as it is, all divided by 2 lots of 1. So let's work out what that is. Right, give me just a moment as I type this into my calculator extremely slowly. Give me just a moment. Trying to figure out. Okay, so. Oh no. So if I put this in my calculator, I get. Oh, okay. One plus or minus 3 root 5 over 2 plus or minus. And the two answers would be 3.9 to one decimal place. And the other answer is going to be minus 2.9, again, to one decimal place. So there are two answers for x. Next question, right? X squared plus 10x plus 7 in the form x plus a squared plus b, where a and b are constants. So to do this, it's completing the square. And the giveaway is that we've got this square term that they want us to write. So we go x plus, in this case, plus something squared. So in this case, we have half the coefficient of 10, which is 5. And then what we can do is we can have a think, okay, x plus 5 all squared. That is the same thing as x squared plus 10x plus 25. But we don't want 25. We don't want 25. We want it to be plus 7. So to get from 25 to 7, well, that's a difference of 18, so we subtract 18. So we therefore get that a is equal to 5 and b is equal to minus 18. But that's not even what they asked us for. They just wanted us to write it in the form. So x plus 5 all squared minus 18. Next, shown below is the curve of equation y equals f of x. The curve passes through the points minus 4, 0, minus 1, 0, and 0, 5. Sketch the curve with equation y equals f of x minus 1. Okay, so when you have f of x minus 1 like this is inside the bracket. So inside it affects x, so we do the opposite. So here it says -1, so instead we do +1. So instead of moving it to the left, which is what most people would think, we'd move it to the right. And we've got to get the critical points here. So what we have to do is we've got to ensure that this point that's -1, 0, we move it 1 to the right, so it now goes through 0, 0. So we've got to get this aspect of the curve correct. And actually, this bit can just continue going up. And then we've also got to get this part correct as well. So this now goes through 0, 0. The bit where it went through -4, 0 now goes through -3, 0. And that's it. They're the main points where it crosses the axes. They're the main things that you would need, essentially. So -3, 0, and then 0, 0. To draw y equals f of -x, well, we can do it like this. So again, this basically looks like multiplying the x coordinates by -1. So if you want to apply the whole opposite business, it's dividing all the x coordinates by -1. So inside affects x, divide x coordinates, so put the little dash, but it's fine, by -1. What does that actually look like? Well, if all the x coordinates are being multiplied by -1, this point up here, which would have been, let me put that in red actually to make it stand out, this here, which would have been -4, 0, now becomes 4, 0. Because the x coordinate is being multiplied by -1, but we leave the y alone. This point that would have been -1, 0 now becomes 1, 0. And the point that is 0, 5, well, the x coordinate is 0, so 0 divided by -1 is still 0. So it's essentially a reflection. So, oh dear. Just trying my best here to draw a graph. So got that, goes up, and then goes down like that as well. So I've got the rough sketch, and that's the idea. And of course, this is still going to be 0, 5. Okay, let's go on to the next question. The table gives information about the grades students got in a test. Draw an accurate pie chart to show this information. Well, essentially what we need is the angles, basically. So we need the angles to be able to draw an accurate pie chart. And that's kind of what they're alluding to with this kind of question. So where they've got first of all, what we need is a total frequency. So total down here, 10 plus 15 is 25, plus 13 is 38, plus 5 is 43, plus 2 is 45. So the angle for the A grade is going to be 10 out of 45, that fraction of meaning times 360. Okay, so 10 out of 45 times 360. And that's going to be 80 degrees. Okay. And then for the next one, it's going to be 15 out of 45 lots of 360, which is going to be 120. Next one is going to be 13 out of 45 lots of 360, which is going to be 104 degrees. Next one's going to be 5 out of 15. Sorry, 5 out of 45. Was I saying out of 15? I meant out of 45. 5 out of 45 lots of 360 times by 3. Yeah, lots of 360. That's going to be 40 degrees. My gosh, I'm not really making much sense, am I? Just follow what I'm writing, guys. That's definitely correct. And then 2
out of 45, lots of 360. So that's going to be 16 degrees. Okay, just so that I have access to my protractor that you can see on here, stay tuned for the next video where we will finish off answering this question. Take care for now, guys.